Well, here we are. Welcome to the New Orleans Jazz Museum. I was here a couple of years ago, and it was really nice, and it's going to be really nice again. Nice to see a crowd. I live down in St. Petersburg, Florida, and it's great to be back on the road. I've been on the road since September and headed back home after I play in Baton Rouge on Sunday. I'm going to play you one of my tunes, the St. Pete Blues. You get your ups and you get your downs. That's what it takes to make a full go around. I said, hey, hey, baby, you ain't so such much, you know. Ooh, I'm going back down south. Gonna leave all this rain, sleet, cold, and snow. Papa told Mama how it's gonna be. Mama said, Papa, Daddy, you just wait and see. I said, hey, hey, baby, you ain't so such much, you know. Yeah, I'm going back down south. Save all your sorries, Mama, you might need one of them someday before you move your lips. You better stop and think what you're about to say. I said, hey, hey, baby, you ain't so such much, you know. That's right, I'm going back down south. Leave all this rain, sleet, cold, and snow. Don't look back, Mama. You might not like what you see, or you're scheming and you're dreaming, never set your poor heart free. I said, hey, hey, baby, you ain't so such much, you know. Ooh, I'm going back down south. Leave all this rain, sleet, cold, and snow. Papa told Mama how it's going to be. Mama said, Papa, Daddy, you just wait and see. I said, hey, hey, baby, you ain't so such much, you know. You know where I'm going? I'm going back down to St. Pete, Florida. Leave all this rain, sleet, cold, and snow. You get your ups and you get your downs. That's what it takes. Make a full go around. I said, hey, hey, baby, you ain't so such much, you know. Like I said, I'm going back down south. I'm gonna leave all this rain, sleet, cold, and snow. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This kind of guitar playing, a lot of people don't realize a lot of it started in New Orleans back in the early 1900s, before records were even made. One of the greatest The guitar players I never met, of course, but I heard him. He was really a banjo player. Johnny St. Cyr was from here in New Orleans, and I didn't realize that he played guitar at all until I stumbled upon the interview that Alan Lomax, folklorist, did in 1949. And Johnny St. Cyr, of course, worked with Louis Armstrong's Hot 5 and 7 and God knows where else. But at that interview, he picked up a guitar, and it was absolutely mind-blowing. It was like more guitar than any blues guy that came up anywhere in the country could do. And it was spontaneous, and it was just eye-opening. And the other fellow from New Orleans that played great guitar was another jazz man named Lonnie Johnson. And he was a fiddle player as a kid, a violin player. And he made some of the greatest old-time blues songs, before electric guitars, even recorded in the 50s with electric guitars. But he was in a lot of jazz bands and went on to record fantastic blues songs. Some of his best jazz recordings were duets with, it was the first white and black recording artists, I think, Eddie Lang from Philadelphia, Italian fella, and Lonnie Johnson made some of the most incredible, spontaneous jazz guitar duets that ever happened. Very big and influential on what Django Reinhardt did a decade later in Paris. Something to think about. It's all available on the internet, which is mind-blowing. I got time for another song. Everyone I made up in old style, more of a... my mentors were actually from the Carolinas. I hung out with Reverend Gary Davis from Greenville, South Carolina, and Pink Anderson from Spartanburg, South Carolina. They'd never met, though they were both there in the early days. Of course, Reverend Gary Davis was discovered by a lot of people when he was in New York in the 40s playing on the streets. And Peter, Paul, and Mary recorded one of his tunes and insisted he get paid for it. He was called down to the publishing office to talk business, He was a blind street singer. And they asked him if he wrote this song about Samson and Delilah, and he said he never wrote any songs. Lawyers were looking pretty happy when Peter Yarrow, I think it was, said, how'd you get a hold of that song? Reverend Davis leaned back in the chair and said, it was revealed to me in the spring of 27. And they insisted to put Gary Davis's name on the contract. And Peter, Paul, and Mary, it was the beginning of the folk boom. Their first album sold 3 million copies. And Reverend Gary Davis, his first publishing check was 5 figures. Guy singing on the streets. And they hooked him up with folk music, it drew a lot of good-hearted people. And Peter, Paul, and Mary hooked him up with Manny Greenhill, Folklore Productions, who managed Joan Baez and Dave Van Ronk and Jack Elliott and a lot of big folk stars. And they ended up publishing everything that he could remember. And he died owning 2 houses. And I got out of the Navy in '65 and went on the road with old Reverend Davis. And after dropping out of college for the 3rd time. The 3rd good decision I made in my life. Except for meeting my new wife. Me and the new wife are having our 23rd anniversary coming up in December. Just thought I'd mention that since she's here. This is a song I wrote for the Reverend. It tells his stories. I called The Preacher Picked the Guitar, and it was recorded by Jorma Kaukonen a couple of years ago, which was kind of nice. He was a big fan of Gary. And of course, Gary's music was recorded heavily by Hot Tuna and the Grateful Dead, and those checks kept rolling in for Mrs. Davis for 25 years after the Reverend passed, May 5th, 1972. Tell you a story about a man I knew. was a blind street singing preacher that played some blues. His fingers picked the guitar. They danced up and down the board. He passed his days, he was just singing and waiting on the Lord. You know, the people heard his message and they came from miles around. His pulpit was on the streets up in Harlem and sometimes way downtown. That's right, the preacher picked the guitar. His hands made those magic chords. Passed his days just singing and waiting on the Lord. One day the angels heard him sing and thought he should be heard. You know, they opened the ears around the world so he could spread the word. And the preacher picked the guitar. His hands made those magic chords. Yes, he passed his days just singing and waiting on the Lord. And then he sailed across the ocean to London, then to France. He was thanking Jesus every day for giving him that chance. That's right, the preacher picked the guitar. His hands made those magic chords. Past his days, he was singing and waiting on the Lord. His voice was quiet as time had come. He knew where he was going, where he had just come from. Yes, his fingers picked the guitar, danced up and down the board. Past his days he was singing, waiting on the Lord. Well, I told you a story about a man I once knew. He was a blind street singing preacher that played some blues. Preacher picked the guitar, his hands made those magic chords. Thank you. Thank you very much. Reverend Davis was born in 1896, I think, and he heard a lot of music. And God knows where he got it from. He used to say it was revealed to him. He told me there were a couple of great guitar pickers in Lawrence County, South Carolina. There was a fellow named Willie Walker who had a string band. And when Gary was a young man, he got to play in that string band. And he went to school, to a blind school. That must have taught him some music theory because he knew a lot of stuff. There was nobody in the history of music that played like Gary Davis before him, and there was nobody that played music like him after him unless they hung out with him and learned from him. And he liked to give lessons for $5. And I had a couple of those lessons when I dropped out of school and told him I'd go on the road with him, gave up my GI Bill college education, and never regretted it. Never. Gary played all kinds of music. He was influenced a lot by piano players. He played his ragtime guitar style. Yes, I'm a rag. You know that I'm a rag. Yes, I'm a rag. I'm a ragtime millionaire. All you little people, take your hats off to me, 'cause I'm a ragtime millionaire. Mr. Henry gonna buy me a Ford a month, and everybody else gonna bite my dust and put a little sign on it says, "In God we trust." And I don't mean to cause no fuss. And all you people, take your hats off to me, 'cause I'm a ragtime millionaire. You know I'm going to take my sweetie to a ball tonight. I'm going to make you boys all treat her right. I'm going to keep the girl out at half the night. And I don't mean to have no fights. All you people, take your hats off to me, 'cause I'm a ragtime millionaire. Yes, I'm a rag. Ooh, I'm a rag. That's right, I'm a rag. I'm a ragtime millionaire. All you people, take your hats off to me, 'cause I'm a ragtime millionaire. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. There was a guitar player up in Virginia named Henry Moore, I think. Might have missed it. Forgot his first name. He's getting old. But he had that record out, "I'm a Ragtime Millionaire." But he wasn't playing enough ragtime guitar on it. I heard it on a 78 RPM record, so I combined it with Gary Davis, who was really playing ragtime guitar. And it turned out to be a nice number. It's on one of my CDs. Let's see here. My friend Pink Anderson, I'll do you another original tune here. Let's see which one I'm going to do. This one here I call "It Could Have Been Worse," and everything could have been worse. I mean, here we are, thank God. I got to move my wedding ring to this hand because it rattles on the neck of the guitar. My good gal left with another man. I won't be missing her raising sand. She ain't good looking and she don't dress fine. The girl can't cook and she's always lying. It could have been worse, they say. Could have been worse, you know. It could have been worse, just wait. Oh, shucks. It could have been worse, they say. It could have been worse, you know. It could have been worse, just wait. Yeah, it could have been worse. You know that her mama don't like me. She told me so. In my business, she sticks her nose. She'll pop in, doesn't have a clue. Catch us doing the dippity-doo. Well, it could have been worse, they say. Could have been worse, you know. Could have been worse, just wait. Yeah, it could have been worse, you see. Could have been worse, they say. Could have been worse, you know. Could have been worse, just wait. That's right, it could have been worse. You know that she likes her whiskey and she likes her wine. She's smoking them reefers all the time. Gets so high, can't hardly stand, and she can't remember that I'm her man. Could have been worse, they say. Could have been worse, you know. That's right, it could have been worse. You know that she's telling stories on all her friends. Who's doing who to what, where, and when. Can't keep her mouth shut, that's for sure. And if she hears some trash, she just wants some more. Could have been worse, they say. Could have been worse, you know. It could have been worse, that's right, yeah. Could have been worse. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Now, my other old friend was Pink Anderson, and he never knew or wouldn't have cared that Pink Floyd was named after him. And Floyd Council, who was another North Carolina guitar picker, made a handful of records back in the day. Pink worked mostly in medicine shows. Those little shows that went around the small towns of America. Back before there was a Walgreens and a CVS on every corner, you were lucky if the medicine show came through. First on wagons and then in flatbed trucks. Entertainers were hired to draw the streets, drag the streets for a crowd. And Pink Anderson told me he went on the road back in like '06 with C.W. Blair's medicine show. Whoa. And he worked for C.W. Blair for like 15 or 18 seasons. It's a weather-related gig. He didn't work in the winter in the mountains of the Carolinas. And then he went on to Dr. Kerr's medicine show. And in the 50s, he was working with Chief Thundercloud's medicine show. A lot of Indian remedy companies popped up with Indian chiefs as the hustler. I don't think they really were Indian chiefs, but they're probably not doctors either, most likely. But Pink made a living dragging the streets. He worked with his partner, Pegleg Sam, who was an interesting character to meet. I met him back in the 60s. Pegleg Sam, he played the harmonica, and he was a dancer. It was a big deal back then. I actually knew 3 peg-legged dancers. Crazy. But then were the days. A lot of people always ask me at gigs, how come there were so many blind blues singers? You know, it's almost like, why are there so many peg-legged guys? I don't like to get into politics, but it had a lot to do with health care for the poor people of this country. So, here's a tune Pink used to do. That's a great intro in the key of C. I use that a lot. I got some CDs here. I don't have my instructional DVDs, but I do have a DVD, The Guitar Artistry of Roy Bookbinder. I didn't name it, but the company had a whole series, the Guitar Artistry, and I get to play some of my tunes and talk about how I wrote it and why I wrote it and why I chose to do it if I didn't write it. And I got a few of those there. They'll be $20 a piece. And I got 2 different CDs there. Usually it charges $20 a CD, but it's going to be $20 for 2. Every time I sell a bunch of those, I get better mileage in my little tour bus. It's all about economics, you know, survival. Anyway, Pink used to play the guitar and sing like this. He missed the folk revival. He had a stroke right before it happened, though he did record some stuff in the early 60s. But by the early 70s, I helped get him a little bit healthier, and I got a note from his doctor that said he wouldn't die on the road. So I set up a college tour. He made more money than he'd ever seen. It was great. And every spring I go north. When he died, it was an unmarked grave, so I got my friend Paul Jeremiah to chip in, and for $50 we put a stone down with the guitar etched in it, and we go there in the spring and clean it off with moonshine, because he used to supplement his income selling moonshine, etc. I went down to a big crab game. It certainly was against my will. I lost every gosh darn nickel that I had, but this here greenback dollar bill, you know, a $40 bet was on the floor. My buddy's point, it was 9. The police coming to grab all of us, but I got mine. Yeah, I got mine. I got mine, that's right. You know, I got it all a good sport, like I said. I was shooting dice all the time. Some of them boys got 30 days, and others, they got 9. When they brought the stripes in the very next morning, I got mine. Tell you about a turkey feed, the dinner was certainly fine. Little senior moment there, we'll have to wait for it to come around, like Arlo used to say. To a turkey feed. The dinner was certainly fine. 15 minutes before the table got set, all the jolly bugs fell in line. You know that when they brought those gobblers out, the rascals I did shine. Talk about a rascal I grabbed in, that's right, and I got mine. I got mine, what was it? I got mine. I grabbed the gobbler by the wing, and out the back door I went, flying to try to make it to a hiding place, but I couldn't get there in time. Another rascal grabbed me by my collar, and I got mine. I went to my best gal's house. The hour was just about 9. I wasn't dressed up like old Henry Ford, but man, I was feeling mighty fine. I caught her sitting in another rascal's lap, and I did not like that sign. I told the rascal what I thought about him, and I got mine. All right. Reverend Davis's songs. This is one I first sang when I went on the road with him. I went over for a $5 guitar lesson, and it was really beyond me. He was a very difficult guitar player for me to learn from, but I knew I wanted to hang out with him. And he told me not to come by for about 3 weeks because he was going on tour, and he told me the schedule was on the kitchen table. I looked it over. I said, I got $50 saved up. Maybe I'll go on tour with you, Reverend Davis. He laughed at me. Where are you going to go on $50? But then he asked me, he said, if you want to go, you'll be here tomorrow morning. So I ended up going on the road with Reverend Davis. Took the train to Chicago. It was, I kept putting him in the smoking car because he liked to smoke cigars. It took 36 hours to go from New York to Chicago on that train. It was an interesting trip, though. I got to meet back then Steve Goodman and John Prine and Chris Christopherson. They were all hanging out in Chicago before they made records. And Reverend Davis was playing the folk music club. And back then, the folk music club had hired for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at a guarantee of $400 versus 50% of the door. That was decent money, but the ticket charge was only $1.50. But you didn't need a whole lot of money to live back then. That was good times. And Reverend Davis, this is one of my favorite songs. I first sang this in a little church in Harlem when Mother Davis, they called his wife, and she called me up to the pulpit. It was like I was freaking out. She said, what would you like to do for us? I said, I drove you here. And everybody turned around to look at me. It was really weird. It was up in Harlem, New York. She said, you come up here and sing one of your nice songs Brother Davis taught you. I was like shell-shocked. I said, I didn't bring my guitar. She said, you use B. Davis's guitar. I said, yes, ma'am. He was laughing. He handed me that big Gibson. He did his song. Crowd went nuts. This song, Reverend Davis told me, was revealed to him when he was already in the folk music game. He was playing a Cosmic Coffee House in Lake George, New York. And on the Sunday, she had him, a lady who ran the place, had him sitting in the chair with his feet in the water at Lake George. Pretty cool. It's one of my favorite Christian songs. I didn't learn a whole lot of his Christian songs, but I learned a couple. It's good to have a couple of Christian songs in your repertoire. You might get called to do a funeral or a wedding, you know. Same songs. Something that is mighty swell, a sweet little story that I love to tell. Jesus saved my soul from hell. I said, glory, hallelujah. Gave me a horn and he told me to blow. Said, go in peace, don't you sin no more. My feet are planted on the early bright shore. Glory, hallelujah. Oh, glory, how happy I am. Oh, glory, how happy I am. My soul washed in the blood of the Lamb. It said, glory, hallelujah. Fire baptized and I'm Holy Ghost filled. I'm out here to do my master's will. I got to keep moving, I can't be still. I said, glory, hallelujah. When I was blind, I could not see. You know that Jesus come and he rescued me. Saved my soul from misery. Glory, hallelujah. Whoa. Glory, how happy I am. Whoa, glory, how happy I am. My soul been washed in the blood of the Lamb. I said, glory, hallelujah. Get back, Satan, get out of my way. I don't want to hear them evil words you say. I'm on my way to the kingdom land. I said, glory, hallelujah. Oh, glory, how happy I am. Oh, glory, how happy I am. My soul been washed in the blood of the Lamb. I said, glory, hallelujah. Get back, Satan, get out of my way. I don't want to hear a single word you say. I'm on my way to the kingdom land. Glory, hallelujah. you. Thank you very much. Reverend Davis told me this song came out in 4. I said, 4 what, Reverend Davis? He said, 4. He said he was a little blind boy playing in the mud in Great Court, South Carolina. And it was the first time he heard a guitar, somebody playing with their fingers. He couldn't figure it out, being a blind guy. He asked the man how he did that. He said, with his fingers. And this was the Candyman Blues that became, everybody learned it from Reverend Davis, and everybody from Woody Guthrie and Jack Elliott, Dave Van Ronk, Bob Dylan, Taj Mahal. It's a fun thing to pick on a guitar. Candyman, salty dog. Candyman, salty dog. Candyman, salty dog. If you won't be my Candyman, I won't be a salty dog. Little red light, little green light, little red light, little green light, little red light, ooh, little green light. You stop on red, you go on the green, you don't mess with this in between. Big leg Ida, big leg Ida, big leg Ida, Ida. Ooh, I sure do love that big leg gal. I said, God knows I do. Ooh, ragtime. I don't know how that happened. Candyman been and gone, Candyman been and gone, Candyman been and gone, Candyman been and gone. Well, I wished I was down in New Orleans just sitting on a Candyman stand. Thank you. Thank you very much. Do you one now that came out in 1936. This was probably written in Tin Pan Alley somewhere by a professional songwriter, but I'm not sure. They called it Baby It Must Be Love. And Blind Willie McTell, who was from Georgia, he recorded it and called it the King Edward Blues. It might have had 2 titles, the same song. It's an interesting song, historically. That was when, of course, the king abdicated the throne. And they made a good song. It was probably a popular hit. I recorded this in 1970 when I was 11. Tell me, honey, won't you tell me, please? Is my lover hard to please? You know that I'm getting groggy in my knees. Baby, it must be love. I don't like your little suits and ties. They don't never seem to harmonize. Why they don't match your big brown eyes? Baby, it must be love. I hear them church bells ringing. I see those visions clear. I hear those birdies singing, but no birdies here. Tell me, honey, won't you tell me, please? Is my lover hard to please? I'm getting groggy in my knees. Baby, it must be love. A funny feeling oozing up and down my spine, to my head like sherry wine. It makes me think that the world's all mine. Baby, it must be love, yeah. I hear them church bells ringing. I see those visions clear. I hear those. Ooh. Ooh, baby, tell me, honey, won't you tell me, please? Is my lover hard to please? You know that I'm getting groggy in my knees. Baby, it must be love. You know, it made a preacher put his Bible down, and it made a little rabbit want to hug a hound. Why, it made King Edward give up his crown. Baby, it must. Baby, it must, baby. Ooh, it must be love. Thank you. Thank you very much. You know, they call it the blues, but it's really happy music. It's really funny. The blues in the 20s and in the teens, of course, we don't know exactly what happened in the teens, except we're lucky people like Johnny St. Cyr told us some. Alan Lomax asked him, he says, what do you call that kind of playing? He said, we call it playing with our fingers. Oh. Alan Lomax says, oh, really? It's all in the Library of Congress somewhere. It's amazing. That was the same year Alan Lomax interviewed Muddy Waters down on Stovall's plantation, where he was a tractor driver in Mississippi. I asked him what he thought was going to happen with his life. He said, told Mr. Lomax, it's on the records, it's fantastic. He says, well, I always thought I would be a known person, either a baseball player or a preacher, maybe a blues singer. You got to have dreams. That's the thing. There's a tune been done by a lot of people in different styles. Blind Bill Fuller had a hit with this song, and he called it Rag Mama. It's on one of my albums, roybookbinder.com. Used to be great when they had albums and CDs, and now they're doing away with CDs. We used to support ourselves peddling the CDs, and now it's all downloads, and the record companies aren't making CDs anymore. And that's really weird, because the downloads, you get paid for the downloads like, 12% of wholesale or something. But when you had a hard product you could buy and sell, that was a good thing. But now that I'm an old man, it doesn't really matter, but I feel sorry for the young people coming up. Anyway, this is Rag Mama. Took a lot of liberties with this one. I said, Ron, I get one gal, better get you two. One for you, buddy, and one for you. I got me a wife and a sweetheart, too. Hope my wife don't want me when my sweetheart do. You better rag mama. You better rag mama. Rag mama, come on. Well, it's dog-eat dog and cat-eat mouse. You can rag pretty mama all over this house. Come on, girl, and shake that thing. Let's go riding and we'll do it again. You better rag mama. Better rag mama. Come on and rag mama. There were two old ladies laying in the sand. One said, Mama, I wish you was a man. Look here, girl, stop raising sand. Turn it on over, do the best I can. You better rag mama. Better rag mama. Come on now, rag mama. I got a gal, she like to fuss and clown. She can look up as long as I can look down. She's mighty good looking and she brings me luck. She's a sweet little gal and she sure knows how to rag mama. Rag mama. One for the money, two for the show, three to get ready, said go cat go. Come on girl and shake that thing. Let's go riding and we'll do it again. You better rag mama. Rag mama. Two for the show, three to get ready, said go cat go. Come on girl and shake that thing. If you don't play you surely can't win. You better rag mama. You better rag mama. Rag mama. You come on baby, and that's right. Thank you very much. That's a good one there. Wasn't it great to be in New Orleans? It's a beautiful fall day. Nice not to be hot. We live in Florida, getting ready to go back to the tough winters we have. I do a tune here that I made up for all the medicine show people that I knew. They're all gone now. I met a lot of interesting people. I met a couple that grew up in medicine shows down in Florida, and they wanted to be in show business when they started to be adults, but they didn't want to be a medicine show, and they liked animals, so they had an animal show, Bob and May Noel, and they had a traveling chimpanzee show. Chimpanzee, it's hard to get, didn't say it right. Monkey show. They had monkeys. Chimpanzee. And they had a wrestling chimpanzee thing. And it started in the 40s. And they traveled with these chimpanzees. They trained the one chimpanzee to wrestle. And they send out the crew to put up posters in the little towns following the medicine show. And it'd say, wanted, the town toughs to wrestle with the chimpanzee, pin him down for 3 seconds and win $50. Well, that was a king's ransom. It's still a lot of money. But back in the 40s, you were talking real cash there. And then they'd get to town, and the town toughs would line up to audition, you know, and they'd hire the toughest guy, and then they'd charge everybody else a quarter to see the town tough get his ass whipped. And they set up a little tent, and this was big business. It would still work today, I think. But so they had the cage. It was a cage fight, you know. We all know about cage fights now. I've seen it on TV. Pass by it when we're flipping to something intellectual. But so the monkey, they put the chimp in there, and then they put the town tough in there, and everybody's cheering for the monkey. It didn't take long. This monkey didn't know shit about wrestling, but he was trained from the time he was an infant to do one thing and one thing only, and that was to pull men's pants down. These people retired to Clearwater, Florida, and had a retirement village for primates. The property was worth over $1 million when they passed. You can't make this shit up. And of course, down in Florida, around St. Pete, over in Bradenton, we had Diamond Teeth Mary, who was a classic blues singer who traveled in medicine shows in her early days. And she was familiar with Bob and May and the monkey, the chimpanzee. Oh, there it is, I said it, chimpanzee. You never know what's going to go next here. But Diamond Teeth Mary, she in 1939, 49 it was, she was a headline act in the Rabbit Foot Minstrel Show. It was a big tent show that toured the South every year. And she had a diamond in her teeth, you know, there. And years later, the band put out a song about W.C. Walcott's medicine show, and there was a reference in there to the lady with the diamond teeth, the diamond smile. And he was from Arkansas, so you figure that he must have snuck under the tent and seen a lady smile with the diamond in her teeth. In 1949, he would have been about 7, 8 years old, probably. Pretty interesting. And we met her in Florida because she was at the Florida Folk Festival one year with a piano player singing raunchy blues songs. She didn't record in the 20s, but she was rumored to be the half-sister of Bessie Smith, which is very possible because when the classic blues singers were rediscovered and played Carnegie Hall in New York City, they had Sippy Wallace, who made records in the 20s, and there were 4 classic blues singers, and Diamond Teeth Mary was brought up from Florida, so she was a legit, all the girls knew her. She didn't make any 78 RPM records. She said she told all the girls they were going to get ripped off, and they did. But it would have been nice if she made records at the time. She's in my song, too. She used to work a lot with my brother-in-law's band, Rock Bottom and the Cutaways, and sometimes with my friends Liz Pennock and Dr. Blues. They took her on tour. It wasn't easy taking Diamond Teeth Mary on tour, believe me. Rock took her to Europe. Crowds went nuts. The mayors of cities in Austria would bring roses to the stage. She was amazing. She wasn't doing the shimmy anymore by the time she went to Europe. But so this song is called Step Right Up. Step right up, folks, you just got to see the magnificent, magical, mysterious menagerie. Yes, it will amaze, it will amuse, it will arouse and astound. No doubt the most bodacious show in this here town. You better pack up your sorrows, kiss away your cares. You won't have to worry no more. Now listen, if you're tired and run down, life ain't worth living no more. Can't hardly drag yourself out of bed like before. You got no health, no vitality, no vigor, no zest. The Chief's Indian remedy elixir's the best. Don't hesitate, you don't want to be late. Get there before it's all gone. Yeah, step right up, folks, you just got to see the magnificent, magical, mysterious menagerie. Like I said, it'll amaze, arouse, and astound. No doubt the most bodacious show in this here town. Pack up your sorries, kiss away your cares. Now you gotta drink it neat, that's right, it ain't too sweet. Before long you'll be back wanting more. Now listen, the chief will make you believe the doc ain't there to deceive, and the story that he weaves will relieve you of some of your pain and all of your change. But you'll be glad that you came to the show. They got a peg-legged dancer and an Indian chief. Why, they got him a blues singing lady with diamonds in her teeth. They got him a two-headed turtle man. You just gotta see it. They got a chicken that can count to 10, no lie. Follow them down to the free show tonight. You don't want to miss it begin. I said, step right up. You just got to see the magnificent, magical, mysterious menagerie. Thank you. That's a lot of words to remember. I'm doing good. Them were the days, I tell you. I used to, sometimes I lived in my motor coach for many years before I met my new wife in St. Pete. And when I was in Florida, I often parked at the Bob and May Knowles primate retirement home, they called it, for gorillas and stuff. You know, the circus couldn't handle them anymore. They'd send them to Bob and May, and they'd take care of them. Interesting people. But it was really weird getting there. Like you'd have a show in Tampa at Skipper's Smokehouse, and then you go to sleep over in Tarpon Springs there, and you'd get there, and there was all the jungle sounds because they had birds too. So it was like a Tarzan movie. It was really weird, but it was good. Great memories. All right, I'll now do another song that Pink Anderson did. Now this song, interestingly enough, was recorded. The first hit was Jimmy Rogers, the hillbilly singer. Not to disparage the white guy, but that's what they called him. He was the first star of country music. In the 20s, he was the Depression hit, and he sold over 1 million records during the Depression. He died of tuberculosis as a young man. Yeah. People started to check their watch to get nervous. Yeah, we got a few more minutes. I'm just kidding. I just require every show that I can see the people, because it's not much fun if you're not looking at somebody. It's really great. You're just fantastic, and it warms my heart. It's so great to be back in show business after the dark year, I call it. But Jimmy Rogers, yeah, he sold a lot of records, influenced a lot of people, and he died of tuberculosis at 29 years old, I believe. Every record he made is still in catalog. It never went out of catalog. It was 78s, then it was LPs and 45s, and then CDs, and now it's downloads. Rounder Records put out 7 albums. The entire works of Jimmy Rogers has always been in. He did a version of this song, as did many people. This is Pink Anderson, Blind Blake. They recorded it. A lot of times the hillbilly singers influenced the blues people. It was a little crossover thing going on there back in the day before people got really freaked out. But anyway, this is the song. This was the first song I recorded in 1967 to get a chance to do one song on an anthology. Oh, I was so excited. And I still love the song. I still love every song I ever learned, except 1 or 2. See, I got to use that lick again. It comes in very handy. I've been playing that for 58 years. I can't believe it. How many years have passed? I mean, I joined the Navy 50 years ago.
60 years ago. Oh, my God. 60 years ago, I joined the Navy. It wasn't sailboats, but it was close. I had an old friend named Campbell, and Campbell used to steal and gamble. He made his living cheating all the while. He had a little game and he called it yoker. Sometimes he called it poker. He thought he was the smartest dude in town. Now listen, I found out last Monday they locked up Campbell on Sunday. They got him in that jailhouse way downtown. They got Campbell locked into jail, and nobody in the French Quarter is gonna go his bail. The judge said that he wouldn't accept no fine. He's in the jailhouse now. In the jailhouse now. They got Campbell locked in the jail, and nobody in New Orleans gonna go his bail. The judge said that he would not accept no fine. I remember last election, all the folks in action, they was trying to get themselves another president. Along come my brother by the name of Bill Austin. He walked from Baton Rouge to Boston trying to find an honest sentiment. You know that my brother Billy was a voter. He was a big-time promoter, always looking for good advice. They told Bill to go to the poll, to vote right across the very top row. Instead of voting once, that fool, he voted twice. He's in the jailhouse now. He's in the jailhouse now. I told Billy back at home, I said, Billy, leave the politician's business alone. He's up on the rock pile now. All right, we'll pick it one time here. Now, I went to town last Friday, and I met a sweet little gal named Lighty, and I thought Lighty was the prettiest gal in town. Ooh-ee. Lighty began to spend my money. I began to call Lighty honey. We went into a swell cafe. We sat down. Now, folks, I was really in it. I was spending every minute. You know, I was buying port wine, whiskey, and homebrew by the quart. When I did go to pay that man, I found Lighty's hand in my pocket where my money was. She's in the graveyard now, buddy. She's in the graveyard now. I told the judge to his face, Lighty's hand was out of place. She's in the graveyard, she's pushing up daisies, and I'm in the jailhouse now. Not a very politically correct ending to that song, but a big seller throughout the decades. What can I do? The jailhouse now. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Coming down to the end of this. I thank you so much for being here, and thanks to Travis and Danny. They're the great sound. This is the greatest sound. If I ever hit it big, I'm taking them on the road. The odds are getting less and less of that chance happening, though. Oh, it's been a great run. Back in '82, I could have never dreamt. I played the New Orleans Jazz Festival in '82. Never got asked back, but it was good. It was good. I was on stage. I'm not exactly sure how it went, but it was like I was on stage 5. I was so excited. I mean, it doesn't get better than that, right? And on stage 4 was Clifton Chenier. And stage 3 was Lightning Hopkins. Stage 2 had Jerry Lee Lewis. I think the Beatles were on stage 1, or it was maybe Elvis. The sound man, we did the sound check, and my sound man left. I had 8 friends sitting on a blanket with a bag of crawfish, wishing they were on a different stage. And I was up there singing my heart out. I still have the back. I have the parking pass and the sticker that says you backstage pass on my fridge at home in St. Pete. It was a great moment. Then I got a call from Quint Davis, who ran that thing. He probably still does, bless his heart. He called me up one time. I said, "Oh, what's up?" He said, "Well, you said to call you if I ever needed you." I said, "What's happening?" He said, "We're going to have a Florida jazz fair and like in New Orleans." I said, "Really?" I said, "Who do you got?" I said, "Oh, we got Dizzy Gillespie and we got Tanya Tucker." And I said, "Wow, that's good. And why are you calling me?" He said, "Well, you're a Florida guy. What'll it take to get you to play there?" I said, "Oh, yeah, when is it?" He said, "June." I said, "I'd like to get $2,000. He said, "Well, I'm going to offer you $1,000 and you're going to say thank you very much." I said, "Yeah, thank you very much, Quinn." So it was pretty exciting. I get to the thing. It's like 100 degrees in June in Orlando at the fairgrounds. And it's like 300 people instead of 3,000 people or 30,000 people. And I followed, what was George Jones's wife's name? Which country star was she? Yeah, Tammy Wynette, yeah. I followed Tammy Wynette. And I did a nice show, and people knew me because I was a Florida guy. And I had a nice hand, and I walked up the stage, and they were calling for more. And the stage manager says to me, Diz is over there, Dizzy Gillespie. He's shooting around backstage. He's dying to get it over with. Could you pass on your encore? I said, yes. I looked at Diz, and he looked at me, and I go, and he nodded at me. How many people got the memory of being nodded at by Dizzy Gillespie? I was pretty damn good. I don't know if that story was leading into a song. This thing has not been rehearsed, believe me. I've been doing it for 55 years, but I never planned a show. I did a show the other day, and the guy said, "We need your set list." I said, "I've never had a set list in my life." He said, "Do you remember what you did?" I said, "Heck no." So anyway, I'm going to finish up with, let me see, we're running out of time here. Yeah, I'm going to call this my encore so we do away with any embarrassment on my part or your part. The encore is the worst part of show business because, you walk halfway off and people are putting their jackets on and other people are saying like, "Oh, thank God." And other people are freaking out more, they're shaking on the floor. And you have to make the decision. So I've tried to eliminate the encore. Like at festival, there's nothing worse than a guy goes up there and sweats his ass off playing the music, or a gal, and then the announcer runs out there who didn't do a damn thing for the whole hour and a half, and he says, "Give it up, do you want more? Give it up, give it up." So when I go on at a festival, I said, none of this give it up shit. 12 years, I'll be 90. So I thank you all a great deal for being here. Without you people make my life. I look forward to it every year. It's like Christmas going on tour. I love being at home with my wife, but it's great to go out on tour. And just knowing that it's going to happen keeps you in shape. So I'm going to finish up with this song here. This is from the new album, The Good Book. That's what they call me. And you can get the 2 albums for $20 or the DVD for $20, or you can get them both for $50. No, that wouldn't work. Give me whatever you want. All right. And thank you to the New Orleans jazz people and Aiden and his crew that hired me, and Danny and Travis, the sound people, who are incredible. I'd like to come here to hear some jazz sometime when they're doing it. But what can you do? And back home, we got a great radio station, WOZ here. Mark Stone had me on the air yesterday. That's probably why I have such a big crowd. Thank you, Mark. And back home, we have a radio station, WMNF, and the founding fellow was here from St. Pete. Didn't come specially to see me, but he could have said he did. Randy Wynn is over here from St. Pete, Florida. Unbelievable. Okay, I'm finishing up, and I had a great time. This is The Good Book. This song inspired by Reverend Davis, but as he said, I always wanted to write a song like this. I couldn't do it, and then it was revealed. Got Reverend Davis's big chords in there.
That's a cool chord up there. And you can do it down here. There we go. And thank you so much. My mama told me, Papa told me too, the good book's got the answers, it'll tell you what to do. The good book's got the answers, you just wait and see. Got the answers there just for you and me, that's right. Learn to sing and dance, you better work and play real hard. And watch your step along the way on your journey to the stars. Don't you be a cheater, don't be telling lies. The straight and narrow path you're on will lead you to the prize. Yes, my mama told me, Papa told me too. The good book's got the answers, you know they will tell you what to do. Good book's got the answers, you just wait and see. Be good to the children, the old and feeble too. Don't be doing to others what you don't want done to you. Mind your own business, keep singing a happy song. A soldier in God's army always knows what's right from wrong. Yes, my mama told me, Papa told me too. The good book's got the answers, yes, it will tell you what to do. The good book's got the answers, you just wait and see. Good book's got the answers there just for you and me. Don't be wanting what's not yours, give thanks, you got a lot. You ain't never gonna miss what you don't have or get from them that's got. Fussing and a fighting is not the righteous way. You just best be quiet if you got nothing good to say. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.